Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Oxcord Podcast, presented by Boot Crew Media and sponsored by Maker's Mark. I'm your host, Cruz Oxnard, as always joined by co-host Nikki P, rocking our merch today. By the way,
yeah, baby.
The intern Bond Snow and Wyatt is in the cave. Boys, happy Wednesday. A little bit of an earlier show for us, so a late lunch with the Oxcord.
Yeah. I haven't actually taken my lunch yet. I'm doing the recording on my lunch break, so it is lunch with the Oxcord right now. So we're having a good time. But I'm ready to just jump right into this, man. I'm telling you, I'm ready for this college football week. It's gonna be amazing,
dude. It's gonna be awesome. This is gonna be such a good weekend. I cannot wait for it. I'm so glad we get to be a part of this. I'm like looking at the schedule, and I know obviously like what we'll be watching at 2:30 and 7:30 in the afternoon, but what will we be watching around noon though? That's the real question. Like that's going to be like the real debate.
Yeah, no, I mean let's see. What is the good 11 o'clock games? I am curious. I'm looking at it now. TCU looking to go on an undefeated streak. That would be kind of a cool one to watch. Obviously Ohio State. That's a big one.
I actually kind of want to watch Florida A&M. I think
that might be the game that honestly gets.
I actually think that'll be a decent game.
That might be the game that gets Jimbo fired.
Really, if they lose, that could be interesting. I kind of want to see that. I also want to see Tulane keep winning because like Tulane is number 19 in the country right now.
I would love to see it. Tulane. I want Tulane back in the SEC. I've been such a supporter of that since like 2 years ago when they had a tear. So I think that would be fun.
So there was a tweet by Booker Media that I saw posted today, and if Tulane and LSU play in the Sugar Bowl,
that would be incredible.
If Tulane wins out and LSU finishes, let's just say 9-3, 10-2. Or not 10. Well, they can't go 10-2 because that means they beat us. But if they go like 9-3, they win out. They win the rest of their games except they lose to Bama. I think that they should go to the Sugar Bowl and they should play Tulane. And how amazing that game would be. I would have to go.
I'm sure LSU is sitting there like hoping that doesn't happen because I mean Tulane beats them in a straight up neutral site game. It's gonna suck for their recruiting.
God. Could you imagine the best football school in Louisiana being Tulane?
Yeah, or I mean, like it would be like Alabama losing to UAB, and like how unbelievable that would be.
Oh.
I don't even know if there's a scenario, and I mean that's why like Alabama doesn't play like Alabama A&M or any of those like in-state schools. It's all recruiting based. So
we have nothing to gain from it.
So, but I mean Tulane's a really good program, so who knows? I would love that. I think that'd be awesome, but I'm sure LSU fans are hating that idea.
All right. Well, we got some good games to go over. It's going to be a fun weekend of football and even Monday night for me. Bond, let's get into the first game.
All right. We're going to start with us. Bama LSU. We are favored by 13.5. The over-under is set at 56.5. We are ranked 6th, and LSU is ranked 10 as of yesterday.
I told you guys before the season started that this could possibly be a top 10 matchup going into this game. And everyone thought I was crazy. And what do we have? A top 10 matchup going into this game. I thought we would be undefeated, and I thought LSU would only have one loss by now. But here we are. Doesn't matter. This game is going to be nuts. It is a night game in Death Valley. We know how hard it is to play. However, though, Bama has had a ton of success playing in Death Valley at night. The last time LSU beat Alabama in Death Valley was 2010, and it was a crazy game, ton of trick plays, Les Miles, way deep into his bag. But since then, Alabama has owned this series. This is tough, man. This is going to be a really good game. Jaden Daniels looks like he's finally arrived. Brian Kelly looks like he's figured it out. LSU's pass rush is fantastic. But I've seen this movie before. I know what's going to happen. It's going to be hype. It's going to be loud. It's Death Valley. But this is the time of year where Bama turns it on and they win these kind of games. So I see this being a very close game. I do see Bama, however, running away with this game towards the end. I think that they know that they have to put LSU down because this LSU team does not have any quit in them. They could have laid down and died during the Florida State game. I know they lost, but they were down double digits in the fourth, came back and lost on a blocked extra point. They could have laid down and died when they were down double digits to a team like Mississippi State, came back and won. Same with Ole Miss. They were down double digits, came back, won. This is a team where you have to put them down and keep them down. With that being said, I'm going to go Bama. I think Bama wins by exactly 14 points.
That's a great line. 13.5 is a great line. I think this one's a lot closer. A lot closer than what people think. Talent-wise, across the board, I think LSU and Alabama are a lot more even than even some of what the media would want you to believe. Defensive line, I think they're up there with the best in the country, and their pass rush is only probably second to like an Alabama, Georgia, Clemson type team. So the key is going to be, and it always has been in these Alabama LSU games, it's going to be the interior line. Like, can the offensive line hold up against the pass rush? And that's for both teams, right? Is Will Anderson going to get home? And obviously the turnover battle. You know what I mean? If Alabama cannot turn the ball over and not, penalize themselves 15 times or 120 yards, I don't see a scenario in which Alabama doesn't win this game. But if all of those things are variables and they kind of go to LSU side, which we've already seen this year, they do. Even in Alabama home games, we get penalized 15 times, 16 times a game. So it's going to be a lot on the Alabama coaching staff to prepare these guys and get them prepared for that environment, because a lot of these guys are new faces. They haven't been down to Baton Rouge for a full sold out, night game there. Because last time we went down there was 2020, and that wasn't even close to being a game. So it'll be a really interesting one. I'm excited for it, but I think Alabama does cover the spread. I like the 13.5 spread. You can kind of buy the hook if you want to and get it at 13 just in case it's randomly closer and it ends up being a field goal, right at the end that makes it 13. But yeah, I like Alabama in this one straight up. I mean, I think after coming off a bye week, 2 weeks to prepare, Nick Saban is a juggernaut when you're giving him those variables. So Alabama to cover.
I also have us covering here. I think the under hits though. I don't think that.
What's the over under on this one?
56.5.
See, I just don't. I mean, I like LSU's off. I just don't know if they're going to be able to score that many. I mean, that 13 at 56 would be putting Alabama scoring 43 points,
42,
which is probably about right. Yeah, 43-28. I don't see LSU able to score 28 on us. I really don't.
I think LSU has finally figured out their formula on offense, which is Jaden Daniels, let him just run. And it works. And quarterbacks like this have given Nick Saban fits over the years. The matchup I want to watch is Kayshon Boutte versus Kool-Aid and Eli Ricks. I want to see the receivers go up against their corners and their secondary. I think that's going to be the big thing, because I believe we can get a lot of coverage sacks. I believe that Dallas Turner, Will Anderson will be able to contain on the outside. Jaden Daniels. My big thing is how many coverage sacks can we get? So Jaden Daniels' legs are going to be the X factor for LSU, and I think Eli Ricks and Kool-Aid are going to be the X factors for Bama. So I think it's going to be a fantastic game. I can't wait to watch it. I'm going to be at a Bama bar in Chicago watching this game. I decided not to make the trip, so it'll be interesting. I'm pumped. I can't wait to embarrass myself in front of a lot of new people in Chicago.
I'd be really shocked. I'd be really, really, really shocked if Alabama comes out in a zone defense against this team, because they're gonna make this kid
a lot of
them. And we got the athletes in the secondary that they're gonna be able to match up with people like Kayshon Boutte, straight up one-on-one coverage. So, like you said, it'll be a fun game to watch. I just don't see this LSU offense being able to score that much.
Yeah. All right, Vaughn, what's next?
Let's go to the elephant in the room, Tennessee, Georgia. Number 1, Tennessee. First time in the CFP era against number 3, Georgia. Georgia's favored by 8 here with the over set at 66.
I love this game. I actually might be more excited for this game than Alabama LSU. I'm not kidding.
I'm going Tennessee to win straight up.
Woo.
I think Tennessee wins. I do.
Feels like 98.
This Tennessee team is legit on offense. I don't. Here's the thing: if this was last year's Georgia's defense, I would lean Georgia. I just watched Anthony Richardson throw a party on him in the second half, and Hendon Hooker is 10 times the quarterback Anthony Richardson is, and they have a lot more weapons. If this game was in Neyland, I would say Tennessee wins easy, but it is in Athens. It's going to be electric. This is a huge. I mean, this game decides the East, like essentially, like because I don't see Georgia losing to Kentucky, and I don't see Tennessee losing to Vanderbilt. Mm-hmm. So you have these games. So this will decide who plays in the SEC championship game. Essentially, I like Tennessee by a little bit. I have Tennessee winning straight up. I have Tennessee money line. I'm taking the under in this game. I think this game it's just like a part of me is just like Tennessee is going to finally reveal themselves and be frauds, and I'm going to look like such an idiot. But I'm going Tennessee. I can't believe I thought I would never see the day Tennessee would be number one in the college football playoff polls.
I mean, tell me the last time the number one team in the country was not a favorite in a football
game. Mississippi State versus Bama 2014.
So that long ago, 8 years, 8 long years. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me, and it feels like one of those games where like the +8 is just too good to be true, at even money. And Tennessee's played well, but they haven't played well on the road. I mean, people forget that they almost lost to Pitt on the road. They don't necessarily put up 50 points a game on the road. I like the idea of riding the hot hand because Tennessee is one of those teams that's just getting hot at the right time. But Georgia hasn't really played a whole heck of a lot of competition this year. They haven't had a night game. I understand this isn't a night game, but they haven't had, one of those like tough matchups. So this is going to kind of test the mettle for both of these teams. I think whoever wins this, they get beat up and they're tired. They go to the SEC championship game and they lose to Alabama because I believe that they went out. But I'm actually going Georgia, and I like them to cover the 8-point spread too. It feels like one of those where like Vegas wants you just to take the hammer Tennessee money line, Tennessee spread, and then it ends up Georgia wins by 14. You know what I mean?
I would not be surprised if Georgia just annihilates them. Like it's like 35-17, like kind of one of like Hendon Hooker throws like 3 interceptions, like that kind of game. I could just see it happening and not be surprised. I'm just going with my gut because here's the thing. I think Tennessee is riding such an emotional high right now, and Georgia really hasn't been tested all year besides that one weird game against Missouri. And I think Georgia has been coasting all year, and I think they're bored. I think they're on cruise control, and I think that's kind of how Bama was coming into that Tennessee game, and they got caught napping, and then the next thing you know, they're down 28-7.
Yeah,
no, like, shit. Okay, I don't think I'm kind of getting that same sense of feel for this game as well. I would much rather play Tennessee in the SEC championship game again because one, Bama has already played Tennessee, and they played their possible worst game and still almost won. You don't think Saban with a second chance is not going to adjust to that? With Georgia, you're going up against a new opponent who, yes, you faced a lot over the years, but this is a completely different team. I think Alabama would benefit from playing Tennessee again because they know that they can beat them even playing their worst game because they almost did. Georgia, I feel like they only game plan for Alabama. So that's where I'm at. But I would not be shocked whatsoever if Tennessee just goes out and embarrasses themselves.
I am going to take Tennessee +8 here. I think Georgia still wins, but I think it's a close game. I think the over hits. I think it's going to be a shootout. But
Georgia's going to have to score with them. I agree with that point. I do agree with that. I think Georgia's definitely going to have to score with them, but it's going to be up to Tennessee's defense to get some turnovers in order for them to actually win out here.
right, and Georgia is notorious for protecting the ball, so I don't see that happening, especially with Tennessee's secondary. So yeah, I'm taking Tennessee +8, and I'm going to take the over.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. What's
All
next?
right, next up we got Clemson in South Bend against Notre Dame. Clemson's favored by 3.5, and the over line is 44.5.
I don't know what to do with this one, man. I don't know.
I hate this game. I hate it. I hate this game so much.
You might
Because
be on mute there, big man.
No, he's here.
Oh,
Oh.
am I?
Yeah.
My bad.
it's you.
No, it was me. My bad.
No, you're good. I hate this game so much. The hater in me wants to pick Notre Dame, but the logical thinking person in me says Clemson all day. But it's a weird spread. It's Clemson's only favored by 3.5, and I know it's at Notre Dame. It's a night game. But Notre Dame's a 3-loss team who lost to Marshall. It is a weird game. And Clemson has shown that they can be beat. Granted, they haven't. They've beaten everyone they play, but they're not the unstoppable Clemson like we're used to seeing that plays an incredible offense and shut down defense. Like, they can be scored on. They can get got. They got upset in South Bend in 2020. Granted, Trevor Lawrence did not play. DJ played. And then that was during COVID. I think this is going to be an electric environment. But I can't take Notre Dame. This Notre Dame team over Clemson. I'm going to go Clemson to win and cover. I think Clemson wins by 2 scores. And I hate that.
No, I agree with you on this one because I'm going to take you back a couple of weeks when Notre Dame played Ohio State and everybody was talking hype about Marcus, the new head coach. And, he just kind of like that was a game and then it wasn't. You know what I mean? And I just don't like this new young head coach in a big game spot. I think he can motivate players really well. But when it comes to pure coaching, I think he's not quite there yet. He doesn't have the experience. And I just don't think, Notre Dame really has the talent on their roster this year to hang with Clemson. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. The spread really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but I think you just kind of got to ride it and take Clemson 3.5.
I mean, they are 106 in passing yards, which against this Clemson team, your best bet of beating them is throwing the football. They are 39th in rushing, and then they generally give up around 22 points a game and only score 28. They're going to have to play a lot better than that if they want any shot. This is going to be one of those games where your crowd has to be into it. You get some crazy plays you don't necessarily hit on, some special teams plays, and you're going to have to play out of your mind.
Yeah, no, they have to play their best game of the season to even have a chance, and then still it might not be enough. I would even say Penn State played a pretty damn good game against Ohio State, and it really, truly wasn't enough because they just ran away with it in the end. So it's going to take a lot. I think Clemson just gets lucky again. They get a few bounces go their way. They end up winning by 10, 38-28 or something like that.
Notre Dame is going to go down for a chance to win the game, and they're going to throw an interception.
It's probably a good point. I like that. I like that prediction. It's pretty good. Vaughn, what you think about this one, dude?
I'm taking Clemson -3.5. If it's not in South Bend, I think Clemson, the line would be at -10. Easy.
When is this game? Is it a night game?
It's a 6:30.
Yeah. I'm not high on Notre Dame at all this year. They're working with a backup QB. Granted, he's had 4 or 5 starts now, but that still wasn't the first choice for a reason. I do think the over hits. I think this over line is a little low at 44.5.
Yeah. Oh, that is really low. Jeez. Give me the over 2. I want the over 2.
All right. Next up, we got number 13 Kansas State against number 24 Texas.
This is such a weird game. Like, in what world should I pick Kansas State over Texas?
Well, Texas is favored by 2.5.
I know, and it does. And Kansas State just beat the
Oklahoma
the best team in the Big 12, and who I thought was the best team in the Big 12 in Oklahoma State, and they just embarrassed them. And this Texas team is so incredibly confusing because one week they'll look like world beaters, and the next they're just not that team. I don't know what to make of this team. It's so confusing. But this seems like a game Texas is going to come out and win. I don't know why. I'm going with Texas. I think they're trying to figure themselves out. And I feel like one week they're hot, the next week they're cold. I think this week they're hot, and I think they pull the upset against Kansas State. I'm taking the over in this game too.
Love it. Yeah, so Kansas State's been very good, and like you said, they just boat raced OK State in last week, and we were all wrong on that one. This is like one of those spots where you kind of look at it and you're like, wow, Kansas State just came off a really dominating win. They're going to go in there and dominate Texas. They're getting hot at the right time. But I'm actually going to go the opposite way. I think Texas wins this game. They win it handily. Texas has an opportunity now to make the Big 12 championship game. They have to beat Kansas State by 28 points or more. And I just in a game where Sark needs to put up points, give me Sark all day because I think him and Lincoln Riley are the best offensive minds in football right now, and that's including the NFL. So I like Texas. I like them big, and I want the over too. Whatever it is, it could be 100 points, and I would still take the over.
I'm taking Kansas State straight up here, but I do think the over hits.
It's going to be a shootout either way. I think the over is a lock. But what is the over and under, by the way, just for purposes?
54.5.
Oh, that's going way over, dude. Way over. I like Texas this year. I do. With what's his face, Quinn or whatever his name is.
Quinn Ewers.
What's his name? Yeah, he's unbelievable. So I'm gonna go with Texas on this one. It's gonna be a shootout, but they win handily.
All right. To round out the college slate, we have Florida against Texas A&M, both unranked. Texas A&M is favored by 3. The over is set at 55.5.
We were talking about this before the game started, or before the show started. And there's a good shot. Yeah, before the show started. There's a good shot that A&M could fire Jimbo.
Oh yeah,
if they lose this game to Florida. Like, this Florida team is like, they knew this was going to be a rebuilding year. Like, they did. Like, they hit lightning in the bottle. The game one against Utah was a perfect environment for it, and they pulled the upset. They gave Tennessee all they could handle to the last play of the game. They came back a little bit against Georgia. Like, this team has fight in them, and they have some athletes. I will say this, though, is that they are clearly like 2 more years away. I think that they are going to come out, and they're going to give A&M a hell of a fight. But this game is in College Station, and it looks like A&M found a quarterback. And I think that they know that they are this close to not making a bowl game. And I'm actually going to take A&M in this game. I think that they pull it out. I think Florida, they don't have enough talent. I think they have some guys like ETN, their running back, and Anthony Richardson is good, and they have some studs on defense. But I think Texas A&M has finally figured out that they have a quarterback. They almost beat Ole Miss last week. So, I mean, they figured something out. Give me A&M to win. I think this is going to be a one-possession game.
What's the spread again, Bone?
-3, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
A&M's favorite.
I think A&M covers -3.
Oh. Okay. I'm actually going to go opposite. This is gut check time for Jimbo and A&M. They're 3-5. They've gotten just the dog shit beat out of them in the media. You know, everybody's making fun of them. Everybody's talking shit. You know, and it's gut check time for this team. And you're going to see what kind of coaching staff Texas A&M has. If they come out there and they punch Florida in the mouth and they win this game by 10, 14 points, you know what this team is about. But flip side of that is I could totally see Florida walking in College Station, putting up 14-0 on them in the first quarter, and then A&M laying down. I could see both sides here. So I think Florida wins this game outright. I'm going to take them plus the points, but I think they win it outright. And there is a strong decision that athletic director has to make on whether to fire Jimbo or not, because I don't know how you come back from going 3-6 and you're not going to be bowl eligible. I just don't see it.
So if they go 3-6, if they lose this week, then that means they have to win their remaining 3 games at Auburn, UMass, and LSU.
And I honestly, truly, if they lose to Florida this week, I would be nervous about them losing to Auburn, because Auburn's going to have that. Dude, hear me out. It happens every time. They get their new interim head coach. They revitalize the team. All that talent that is on Auburn's team is like rejuvenated. They're ready to go. They're ready to play. And that's going to be a very winnable game for them. It's in Jordan-Hare, just like you said. So I would be nervous if I were A&M to not lose that game outright in Jordan-Hare as well.
Oh my gosh, who would have thought that we would be picking Auburn to possibly upset A&M at the end of the year in November?
Well, that spread's probably only going to be 10 and 10.5 points. Really, truly. Like,
well, it depends. If they let's just say hypothetically, like A&M loses this week, I think Auburn's favored.
I don't think they'll be favored, but it will be a lot tighter than what people think.
I think it'll be like a -2.5 spread.
Yeah, it'll be basically a pick 'em, essentially.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
That was our last game for college.
Oh man.
Okay, let's burn through them.
Yeah, I guess so. So I guess now that means I have to go ahead and put in my locks in the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today on your mobile device. Use promo code BOOT, that's BOOT. Bet $10 on any team to win and win $200 in free bets. It is a can't miss deal. Football season halfway over, so you need to get on this action now. Use promo code BOOT, that's BOOT, on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, an official sponsor of the Aux Squared podcast.
Great ad read, Cruz. I'm proud of
you. Thank you. That was good. It's a good segue.
Yeah. Let's run it into NFL.
First up, we got Saints Ravens. Baltimore's favored by 2.5. The over set at 48.
Do the Saints stay hot? This is the question.
So I really want to pick the Saints in the upset here. However, though, Baltimore just signed Roquan Smith to their defense. And I don't know the health on Michael Thomas or Jarvis Landry. However, there has been some positives this week. The same with Marshawn Lattimore. There's been some positives. But until I know for a fact they're playing, it's hard for me to get excited because I've been hearing this all year. So I am actually picking the Ravens to win on Monday Night Football against my Saints. I think it's a smart pick. I think, yes, beating the Raiders was great, shutting them out, getting back on track, but this ain't the Raiders. This is Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They're fighting for playoff seeding. Lamar is playing out of his mind this year. Fun fact, we historically do not do great against the Ravens. So, in fact, Drew Brees in 2018, 2 years before he retired, that was the first time he's ever beaten the Ravens in his career.
Wow.
So statistically, like, we do not do well against the Ravens. And I think, unfortunately, I think the Ravens are going to be a little bit too much for Andy Dalton and company. I know he played great last week, but again, this is not the Raiders. So give me the Ravens -2.5.
Good bet. Yeah, because I'm going Ravens as well. 2.5, kind of just a little bit disrespectful, and I think it's a little bit more reactionary to that
game in New Orleans.
Yeah. It's a reactionary line. Ravens win this game outright, and I think they win it by 10 or 14. Like, it's not particularly close. I think it's actually low scoring though, just like both of these defenses I think are really, really good. I think Lamar Jackson struggles actually against this defense, but I think it's more of like the run game of Kenyon Drake and that new kid that they signed. I think they'll have to be involved heavily for them to win this game. But yeah, give me the Ravens. Ravens 2.5 on Monday Night Football.
I'm also taking the Ravens here. Shorten up that defense, and Michael Thomas is still not confirmed to be back, I believe. So just put Marlon on Olave and let him go to work.
Dude is killing me right now. He's killing me.
I know. He's killing me too, man. He's killing my team. So
yeah, I'm going to take the under here, but Baltimore minus 2.5.
Okay. What's next?
All right. Next up to Nick's team, we got Falcons against the Chargers. LA is favored by 3.5 here with the over set at 49.5.
I'll let you start, Nick.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I like the Falcons. I like the coming off kind of an emotional win on Sunday. We don't particularly ever win those close ones where we blow up at the end. So it was nice to kind of get that one across the finish line. LA is not that great this year. They have like holes, but like all of their primetime guys are all really, really good. What's the health on Cooper Kupp right now? I know he went down kind of towards the end of the game and got hurt. Is he healthy?
Not serious, but I don't think he's coming back this week.
Okay, so he might be out, which
You're
yeah,
playing the
sure.
Chargers,
Give me
not the
Falcons.
Rams.
You're playing the Chargers anyways.
I thought
you're playing the Rams. You guys already played the Rams.
I was about to say, I thought we already played the Rams, but you said LA, and I was like, are we replaying?
Yeah, LA
I don't
Chargers.
know. It was confusing me. Yeah, screw Justin Herbert. The dude's mid as fuck. Give me Falcons. Absolutely. I want Falcons. 3.5.
So Marcus Mariota beats Justin Herbert.
Oh yeah, dude. Herbert, I have been the main proponent of Justin Herbert is not a good NFL quarterback. I've gotten so much shit about it, but he's not good. He has a really, really good team around him, and he can't do anything with it. He has a great defense, pretty good weapons on offense, and he can't do anything. So Justin Herbert's bad. Falcons to cover. Falcons to cover.
So I hate myself for this. I'm actually taking Atlanta to win this game because one reason only. Cordell Patterson is supposed to come back this week from IR. And if he plays and he looks like he has been in the beginning of this season and he plays, I don't think LA can stop him. I think they found a really good formula with him and Marcus Mariota running the football. They're starting to get their guys involved more. That game last week against Carolina was insane. They have the division lead, and I think they add a game to it. And I am actually going to go with Atlanta in this. Now, granted, I'm not happy about it, but right now I think LA is kind of a head case. And I agree with you. I think Justin Herbert has been very lackluster this year, and I'm not impressed with anything he's done. And within this team was supposed to be Super Bowl favorites, and I don't see that.
People were calling him an NFL MVP caliber talent this year, and it's just like, I mean, he never played that good, and it always seems like
he had a great rookie.
He always runs it up on bad teams. He always runs it up on bad teams, and then when he plays somebody worth a damn, he shits the bed. So he's just a middle of the road. He's okay. He's a serviceable quarterback. I don't think you should release him or trade him, but he's not gonna. I mean, I might eat my words on this one, but he's not going to be the guy to win you an NFL championship. He's not going to take you to the Super Bowl. So, yeah, no. Come in my DMs and get mad at me if you disagree with that if you want, but I'm just telling you the truth.
Okay.
I am muted. I'm taking the Falcons here. I've been riding Herbert's hot hand the last couple of years in fantasy because we put up good numbers. However, that has not been consistent this year, and he still has a losing record. So yeah, give me Falcons money line here.
Trash. He's trash. He's gone from mid to terrible. He genuinely has gone mid to terrible this year.
All right. Next up, let's bring Wyatt out of the cave. We got Packers against the Lions. Green Bay's favored by 4, so naturally we're going to lose this game. The over-under is 49.5.
Let me go really quick before I let you and Wyatt go into it. So you guys didn't do shit at the trade deadline like you should have.
Nope.
You did nothing. While your division actually got better.
Yep.
Yeah. The Vikings got TJ Hawkinson, which blew my mind. I didn't even know that was on the table of having a tight end like that get moved in that division.
He's statistically one of the worst tight ends in the league.
Is it?
Yeah, because he plays for the Lions. It's not from a talent perspective.
He plays for the Lions, and Jared Goff is his starting quarterback.
He's my fantasy tight end, and he does well for me. So
because he's a big body in the end zone.
Yeah, and it works. And I think he's a really good tight end, and now he's going to be in a system because Irv Smith is hurt, and they don't have Kyle Rudolph anymore. And I think Kirk Cousins is going to target him early. And then who is it? The Bears just got Chase Claypool. I don't really know how that's going to help the offensive line for the Bears, but whatever. They did something to help Justin Fields. The Packers did absolutely nothing. They didn't get Brandon Cooks. They didn't get Claypool. They didn't get Jerry Jeudy. They didn't get anyone. I know Brandon Cooks is frustrated and now wants possibly off the team, but they're not going to cut him because I don't think that they're going to release him. So
he's expected to ask for a release either today or tomorrow, is what they were saying.
I just think it's going to be. I think it's too. They just gave him an extension. It's going to be dead money that they're going to owe him. So I don't see it. They should have moved him or flipped him for a third or a fourth. In no world I am picking the Detroit Lions over the Green Bay Packers, though. But I will say this: I think the Lions cover.
Plus
I think
4.
it'll be very close.
So yeah, I'm going opposite, and I'll just do mine really quick, and then y'all can talk. But this is a get right game for Green Bay. They've been embarrassed. They have to. This is a must win for them. Give me Green Bay. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has to do something eventually. Green Bay -4 at home. Yeah.
I think I really don't know what to believe about this game. If it was anybody but Jared Goff at quarterback, I probably would pick Detroit. But it is Jared Goff, even though it is in Detroit. They're not biting kneecaps off down there anymore at 1-6. Give me the Packers. I won't say this is quite a get right game, but I will say I do like kind of what I saw at the very end of the Buffalo game. Buffalo was sleepwalking that second half, but the Packers seem to be one of those teams that are going to be we got to see it happen before we really believe it can happen. And so I think seeing the offense work and trusting the run game and letting Aaron kind of play his game with, Samori Toure coming across the back of the end zone there. I think the Packers saw it start to work, and the offense starts to flip and trend in the right direction now when you have the defensive coordinator that is worse than, 2019 Pete Golding. Different aspect there, but
fair enough. Vaughn, what you think about this one, buddy?
Swift is back. Amon-Ra's back. I don't know that our defense can stop them. And I don't think that our offense can put up points against the defense that got gutted by Philadelphia. Oh, man. I really don't know. I'm just going to go Green Bay -4 because I'm a homer. But
The homer that doesn't watch the team.
Yeah.
That doesn't watch the NFL.
I sat through the Falcons the last couple of years. You can't even question me. You can't question my devotion to my team.
I sit through Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, and Taysom Hill. I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I just don't watch any NFL game now, unless I'm at a bar. I'll follow the stats and the news and stuff, but not watching the game. Titans, Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 12.5. Over set at 46.
They're favored by 12.5.
It is the Titans.
Whew. Malik Willis is starting, I'm assuming, still.
I believe so.
Derrick Henry did have a monster game last week. It was against the Texans, though.
Right, and he historically
Kansas City-
owns Houston. He has 6 200-yard games, and 4 of them come against Houston.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is a tough one. A part of me wants to go Kansas City with the points. 12.5 in an NFL game is a lot. And I'm gonna go Kansas City to win, but I think Tennessee covers. I think they're gonna try and keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes, run Derrick Henry a lot. Yeah, give me Tennessee to cover, but Kansas City to win.
I agree with that. I do think the under hits, just because I don't think the Titans score a lot, but I do think they keep it within 12.5 because that is a monster spread for the NFL.
That's a lot for two teams with the same record.
That too. What are you taking?
Kansas City's just been on.
I think the Titans are going to try their best to run Derrick Henry in this game. He got right last game. You know, I think he ended up with over 200 yards of total offense by himself. So Henry's back. King Henry is King Henry. But I'm still picking the Chiefs to win. But I will take the Titans to cover plus 12.5 just because that's a lot for the NFL. Like college, easy. NFL, that's a lot tougher.
That's fair.
All right,
right.
so we're all going Tennessee here to cover, KC to win. Last game we have is Bills-Jets. Bills minus 12.5 again. Over under set at 47.
There is in no world where I will pick this year's Buffalo Bills to lose to the New York Jets. No chance.
Well, yeah, they will cover.
I think they'll cover. I think Buffalo. I have Buffalo winning the Super Bowl. I'm sorry. Like I'm not picking against this team not to cover against the Jets. I think there's only a few teams that could beat the Buffalo Bills, and the New York Jets are not one of them. I think the Dolphins can beat the Buffalo Bills. I think I would say, and I know they played already, but Kansas City can beat them. Baltimore can beat them. I think the 49ers could beat the Bills on any given Sunday if it's in Sanford and not in Buffalo. I don't
Philly.
yeah. So, but yeah, I'm going Buffalo to win easy and cover. I think they win by 20.
I'm also taking the Bills here. I know we were just talking about 12.5 lines being a lot, and the Jets are 5-2, 5-3.
5-3.
Yeah, they are, but with no Brees Hall,
Right.
running that football. Now, if he was playing, the line's completely different. Buffalo's starting to get healthy. They tried to add Alvin Kamara and they tried to add Christian McCaffrey at the trade deadline, which if you would have put Alvin Kamara on the Bills with Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen, like just give them a trophy. But they didn't. So,
I really don't know why they were pushing so hard for those because, like, Devin Singletary's not a bad back, and you run a pass-heavy offense to begin with.
Well, again, it's a lot easier to run the football in January than it is to throw it, especially in Buffalo. And they're gonna have to ground and pound. And it looks like James Cook, the running back they drafted out of Georgia, who we all know as an exciting running back, but maybe he's not panning out so much in the NFL. But that would be my only gripe about it. So yeah, I think that's the only weakness of the team attack.
All right, Wyatt, who are you taking?
It's I feel bad. We said, like we were saying, 12.5 is a lot for the NFL, but it's Buffalo. Like Cruz, I've got them in my Super Bowl just about. That pick might be about to change, but as of now, Buffalo's still my champion. So I'm going Bills, cover easily.
All right, that runs through the slates. Any big trade deadline moves you guys want to talk about before we end it off?
I thought three things. I thought Roquan Smith trade was a perfect trade, like A+, good for Baltimore. Roquan Smith feels like he should be a Baltimore Raven, him and Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good trade. I think the Christian McCaffrey trade was a Kyle Shanahan move saying, like, hey, our team is good enough to win now, even with Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's go get it done. And if he can stay healthy, I think that gives him a huge edge because the rest of that division is just not that good. I mean, think about it. Like Geno Smith currently right now is, I would say, the second best, if not the best quarterback right now in that division. Just the way they played this year, and which is insane. I know it's crazy, but you have Call of Duty Kyler now. You have Jimmy G, which we don't know what Jimmy G we're going to get. And then Matthew Stafford has been a shell of himself this year. So Geno Smith's balling.
He is playing at like 80%. He had elbow surgery in the offseason.
Yeah, well, still. But and then I think the loser of the trade deadline has to be the Packers. Like you have to go out and give Aaron Rodgers some help. Like this NFC is so winnable this year. And the way that the Eagles are playing, you got to have someone, because right now I think if Philly and Green Bay played right now, I think Philly would run away with it. I don't think it'd be close.
Oh no, AJ Brown would have another like 3 touchdown day.
Yeah, no, that game would be ugly quickly.
All right. What about y'all? Any notable ones?
You pretty much touched on all of them. I'm upset that we didn't move quick enough for Brandon Cooks, but I can't really be too upset about it because I knew we weren't going to make any moves because it's the Green Bay Packers and our front office never makes trade deadline moves.
I saw a stat. It said they said that the Packers have only made an in-season trade once in the last 11 years.
That's insane.
And that was trading away Clinton Dix.
That was a good one, and we didn't.
That was a good trade, but
yeah, I don't think we gained much. I think we got like a 4th or something for him.
Yeah.
One of the all-time greatest names in football.
Oh yeah,
I love it. Yeah. For me, the biggest winner would probably be Miami, because Miami realizes that they are in a position here. They've got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That offense is comparable to, 2018 Alabama when Tua was just flinging that thing. And they have realized now that they have a really good shot at making the Super Bowl. The problem is you got to run through either Kansas City or Buffalo, and you cannot send 6 or 7 guys at those quarterbacks. They will carve you up. So to trade for that edge rusher to be able to hit home with 4 guys, perfect move by Miami.
I was trying to remember who they
Bradley Chubb is legit.
Oh yeah, Chubb. That's right. And they gave away a second.
They gave away a first.
It was yeah.
Oh yeah. They gave away a first pick that they had in excess.
Yeah.
Which I think that was a good move.
Oh yeah, it was a great move. You have probably one of the more underrated pass rushers, edge rushers in the NFL that no one really talks about, and you got a guy who is just, I think he's a stud. So now you add it to that, because let's be real, if they can beat Buffalo again, like they already have, then they will win the AFC East, and they will get a home game in the playoffs. And I know Buffalo might end up with a better record at the end of the day. They're 6-1, but Dolphins have the tiebreaker on them right now, and that could be huge. Because we've seen what happens in wildcard games. Like the favors lose all the time. Like what if Buffalo just has a bad day and they get picked off by let's say if New England sneaks in. What if New England picks them off, or a Cincinnati team that gets hot at the right time, or something along those lines. And then you don't have to worry about Josh Allen anymore, and you still have to be like, hey, I got to go to South Beach. I was like, I don't have to worry about the weather. I don't have to worry about bad conditions or any shit like that. Like, I can play our game, and every time you play Miami, it's a track meet.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you have 2 of the fastest guys in the league.
Exactly. So, man, this is going to be a fun weekend of football, guys. This is going to be a good weekend. I'm excited.
All right.
Well, I think that's going to do it for the show. You can find me online at The Real Cruise Off on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you follow all Oxcord socials and, of course, Boot Crew Media because they are great boys. I know Nick had to dip out a little bit early, but how can they find you?
Yeah, y'all can find Nick on Twitter at nperkins96. You can find me on Twitter at bondsnow_. As always, go follow the Oxcord TikTok at Oxcord Podcast. And Wyatt, what you got?
You can follow me online at FultonW_. Follow the Oxcord on Twitter and follow Boot Crew Media on all social platforms.
Boom. Well, we love you guys.